Hello class, today's lesson on Screencast is on the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror. It'll be a quick overview, and then there'll be a documentary for you to watch, the first section of it, and then a writing assignment to bring into class tomorrow. So let's get started. French Revolution happening in the 1790s, as we discussed before, the French and Indian War. France's loss to England, and then their aid to us in the American Revolution. Both of these conflicts decimate the French treasury. At the same time, there's an increase in population in France and food shortages at the same time. So food is becoming scarce as there's more people being born. This creates a situation that really sparks the French Revolution and the lead to basically democracy happening in France, and the execution of King Louis and Marie Antoinette. And the traditional order hierarchy, ancien regime, as we discussed before, is now replaced with a national assembly. So, external events, the food shortages, bad winter also creates a shortage of food, coupled with deregulation in grain, and this rises the price of grain. The main diet of the French people was bread. So 97% of the people of France is represented by what they call the third estate. So there's 1, 2, and 3. First, second, and third estates. First being the nobility, the second being the aristocracy, the third being the rest of the country, which is largely poor and starving. Men like Maximilien Robespierre, Danton, and Jean-Paul Marat. These men were heavily influenced by writers such as Voltaire and Rousseau, Montesquieu, John Locke, and others, out of the Age of Enlightenment, which we have discussed before. They begin to question traditional institutions in France and want change. When you have a situation where the people that lead your country are living such lavish lifestyles and you're starving, you just become, you resent them. The people's view of the monarchy begins to sour, and they gain a voice through Maximilien Robespierre. They gain a voice, which is very important. This leads to the revolution and rioting breaking out in France. They demanded that the nobility pay higher taxes. And this, creates the National Assembly in France, headed by Maximilien Robespierre. Sorry about that. And really, this begins the French Revolution as itself, and then the Reign of Terror. This is Robespierre's tool, if you will, to keep control and instill fear into the people. We'll be discussing this in depth and what terror and terrorism actually means today. Very important event in world history regarding terrorism, and we'll be discussing that specifically later on in the unit. The documentary today is broken down in 4 sections. You will watch the first section. You will form 3 questions for each section regarding the revolution itself, economic conditions, the societal impacts, and the political changes. Form 3 questions, bring them into class. We will have a student-centered discussion panel, which I will guide and try to answer some questions, and you guys will question each other and debate topics regarding that first section of the documentary. At the end of the unit, after each section that we go through and each section of the documentary that you watch, we will pick one of these questions I will pick it, because it will be the essential and compelling and focused question of the French Revolution. And we will have an essay for you to write using 3 paragraphs regarding that particular question. So I hope you enjoy the documentary, and thank you very much. See you tomorrow in class.